Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wager Talk TV. It's Friday, May the 24th, and I'm Ross Benjamin of sportsmemo.com and also of Wager Talk TV. Folks, it's Memorial Day weekend, and I'd be remiss not to wish each and every one of you a very happy, safe, and enjoyable Memorial Day weekend. Be careful, have a lot of fun, hug your family, because it's never take that for granted, folks. In any event, I got game 2 of the NBA Western Conference Finals going tonight between the Minnesota Timberwolves, who will be hosting the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas up in a series 1-0. I got a free pick in that game. And, I've been talking about in-season trends and how I factor them in more when it gets this late in the season. And I know a lot of you have reiterated to me that but Ross, you got to throw the regular season trends out the window when it comes to the playoffs. And in a lot of cases, that's true. Okay. But there's a big difference between a trend and paying attention to numbers and paying attention to pertinent trends and pertinent numbers and knowing the difference between the two. And I'm going to explain that when I get to my pick here in the Dallas and Minnesota game. I got to play on the total here. So stay tuned for that. And again, I have some pertinent numbers, and then I'll give you an example of an impertinent number that you need not to look at. And I'll tell you why. And it all equates and adds up to my free selection on the total in this game. All right. Don't forget, folks, you can visit me at sm.buzz/RB right now. Great special going on for myself over at Sports Memo. $239 for my 30-day pass. Not only will you get the next 30 days, you'll get the rest of May and the entire month of June. That somewhere around 38 days it adds up to right now for just $239. So you're getting 8 days free with this package at $239. And folks, why should you consider getting that? Well, I'm 73-52 in Major League Baseball since August 3rd of last year, as 59% and somewhere around up 5,300 units based on our $100 per unit wagering system or grading system, I should say, at Wager Talk and Sports Memo. Also, my NBA. I lost last night. I'm transparent. I tell you when I win and lose. And the bottom line is I lost last night, but still, folks, number one in the NBA postseason in 2024 right now. Also, finished first in the NBA postseason in 2021 and 2022 at Sports Memo. And my NBA postseason record now stands at 113-66 since 2022. That's good for 63%, folks. And that'll make you a lot of money. It's just a shade under 19,000 units I've made over that course of time based on $100 per unit. All right, let's get to the game. And it takes place, like I said, in Minnesota tonight. Dallas wins game 1 with a comeback in the fourth quarter. I was very happy about that result, as I had a 5-unit top play on Dallas in that game. But we're going to look at the total in this contest, which is 207.5. Now, I have 4 specific trends when it comes to the total for Minnesota. And it all revolves around Minnesota scoring 106 points or fewer in their previous game. Now, the Timberwolves, again, they're coming off a 108-105 loss in game 1. So that's where that factors in. The last 6 times this year that the Timberwolves scored 105 points or less and allowed 105 points or more in the previous game, they've gone 6-0 to the over. In those 6 games, averaged a combined 231.8 points per game. Minnesota's also played 12-4 to the over this year, all season long, after scoring 105 or less in their previous game. Combined 225.1 points scored in those contests. Once again, Minnesota 4-0 to the over this year off a straight-up favorite loss in which they scored 105 points or less with a combined 231.8 points scored per game. Again, Minnesota coming off that 108-105 loss is a 4.5-point home favorite in game 1 against Dallas. And finally, the Minnesota Timberwolves, 7-0 to the over this year, coming off a straight-up favorite loss in which they scored 106 points or less. So, 4-0 when it's 105 or less, 7-0 when it's 106 or less, and that's 7-0 when it's when they score 106 or less is based on the total being 221 and a half or less. So let me repeat that so it doesn't sound identical to the previous trend I just gave you. The difference in the two trends is if they scored 106 or less as opposed to 105 or less, and then add in the factor that if there was a total of 221 and a half or less in those contests in which they scored 106 or less in the previous game, they played 7-0 to the over this year. And again, when they scored 106 or less in that previous game, they lost as a favorite as well. They lost those games straight up, and those games averaged a combined 226.6 points per game. Let me repeat that real quick again. I don't want to confuse you folks. The Timberwolves 7-0 to the over this year off a straight-up favorite loss in which he scored 106 or less, and the total in those contests was 221 and a half or less, which it is tonight at 207 and a half. Now, let me give you an example of a trend that's not pertinent. The Dallas Mavericks, if you look at their team trends, and a lot of sites list this all over the place, the Mavericks have played 12-1 to the under this year when coming off a straight-up underdog win. Okay, so again, they're coming off that game one win, 108-105. They were a 4.5-point underdog in that game. So they're 12-1 to the under when coming off a straight-up dog win. So why am I mentioning this? Because it's pretty irrelevant, deceiving, and misleading. And why I say that? Because the average total in those 13 games was 232.8. The average total tonight is 207.5. Drastic difference. 25 points below what the average total was in those 13 games in the 12-1 under. The average points scored per game in those 13 contests, 221.9. Okay. And the total tonight is 207.5. So yes, 12 of those 13 games off a straight up dog win by Dallas have gone under, but they were at an average total of 232.8 and an average point scored of 221.9 per game, which is well above tonight's total and well above the points scored per game, well above the total as well. The only over that occurred in those 13 games happened in game 6 of the Oklahoma City Thunder series. It was in the clinching game. They won 117-116 at home. In that game, by the way, the lone over, the total in that contest was only 208.5. Tonight it's 207.5. I'm going Dallas, Minnesota over the total of 207.5. That's Dallas and Minnesota over 207.5 in game 2 on Friday evening in the NBA Western Conference Finals. I will be back again tomorrow with another free pick in both Major League Baseball and the NBA. Until then, folks, don't forget to give me a like. It's real important. Instead of giving me a tip money-wise, I'm just asking you to do something free. Just hit the like button. It goes a long way in keeping my videos alive here on this channel. It goes a long way in making Wager Talk TV happy. And it goes a long way in making me happy. It's just a small token of your appreciation for the time, work, and effort I put in to bring you quality free pick videos on a daily basis. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Wager Talk TV. And while you're at it, go into your YouTube settings and click on your alert notification bell for Wager Talk TV. You'll be notified immediately upon any of our content going up on this channel. Take care and God bless, folks.